back to my channel. So today for my spooky vlog, I thought it would be fun to go book shopping. I have only been book shopping once since the pandemic started, which is like crazy because I used to go to the bookstore at least once a week. I have been like desperately wanting to go to a bookstore and just like look at the shelves and be in like the bookstore vibe. And so I think I'm gonna go to Half Price Books like always, and maybe Barnes & Noble because I do have a bunch of books that I need in the next couple of months for videos. But I'm definitely on the hunt for horror and spooky books because I'm now running low. As you guys saw like on my October TBR, I showed you guys kind of all the spooky horror books that I have, and there weren't that many, and now that I've read a bunch of them this month, I'm really running low. So my priorities are definitely horror books and then some really fun books that I'm getting for videos that I'm doing over the next like 3 or 4 months. But first, this video is kindly being sponsored by Function of Beauty. They have launched an entirely custom line of skincare products. By taking a short quiz describing your skin type, goals, and personalized preferences based on your makeup use and skin sensitivity, they will provide you with completely customized skincare products that exactly fit your skin type. Function of Beauty custom blends a cleanser, serum, and moisturizer made especially for you, your goals, and skin type. They're the world's most customized skincare with over 3.1 billion unique formula combinations. They use no parabens, sulfates, GMOs, or toxins, and they are 100% vegan and cruelty-free. On top of the customizable ingredients in your skincare, they also offer products in different formats suitable to your personal preferences. You can also choose if you want the products to be fragranced or not, which is great if you are someone who is sensitive to fragrance in your skincare. I am someone who really loves skincare. Within the past year, I've kind of become obsessed with taking really good care of my skin, and I have a very intense skincare routine, but something that I really love about the Function of Beauty routine is how simple and condensed it is. If you are someone who doesn't have a lot of time in the day to devote to an entire routine, this very simple 3-step routine provides all the necessities that you need in a routine. I personally have balanced skin, so the 3 skin goals that I chose were to brighten, minimize redness, and even tone. All of these products leave my skin feeling so soft and smooth, and definitely helped reduce the redness. And I have a limited time offer for you from Function of Beauty, where you get an extra 10% off any skincare bundle and a free selfie spa headband when you click on the link below. This will give you a total savings of 20% off as part of its new launch. So thank you to Function of Beauty for sponsoring this video. Here is my outfit for the day. Nothing special, but I haven't worn like real clothes in months. Here we go. This is the best, most presentable that I'm gonna look probably until the end of the year. So the first stop that I made today was to Half Price Books. I had a couple things that I was looking for. Mostly I am in the early planning stages of a video sort of similar to the book covers vlog that I did. But in order to find books for this video, it involves me actually looking at the physical books. So I spent like 2 hours at this Half Price Books just literally pulling off books and looking at them. And I honestly think that it was a very effective way to shop. Normally, I will just look at the shelves and pick out anything that catches my eye, but the actual act of like physically pulling off almost every book and looking at the covers helped me find some books that I probably would have never noticed before, and I think I found some really interesting stuff. Specifically, I found stuff in genres that I never really look at. I don't tend to look in the mystery section that often, but I actually found that this Half Price Books location puts a lot of horror books into the mystery section instead of the horror section. There were a lot of books that I found that I was really debating getting. Like, I was looking for some Riley Sager books, but they didn't have the ones that I wanted. I found this signed edition of Ninth House, which I kind of wanted, but I already own a copy, so I couldn't justify buying a $25 copy of it. They also had this book, Severance, which I've been recommended many times, and I do want to read, but this copy was very damaged. Also, since this was like one of the first times I've gone book shopping during the pandemic, I was getting a little bit annoyed because I really like to take my time, and like I said, I was looking at almost every single book. Only one person was allowed in each aisle, and there was this one woman who just kept following me around the store and like clearly trying to rush me to like move me along. And I just wanted to be like, lady, I'm gonna be a minute. Go look somewhere else. Oh my gosh, and then the last thing that I found, which was so shocking, was these physical copies of the Ice Planet Barbarian series by Ruby Dixon. I have never seen physical copies of these. I was very tempted to buy at least the first one, but I didn't end up getting them because I have them all on my Kindle and I couldn't justify it. So the next place that I went was Barnes & Noble, and here I had a specific list of books that I was getting. There are a bunch of books that I needed for videos that I'm doing in the next couple of months. Oh, here I got kind of insecure filming because some of the employees were like standing in a group right near me, and I felt like they could see what I was doing. I felt like I was being very sketchy all day. This was the first time that I'd been to this Barnes & Noble in probably like a year, and they had reorganized it in a very strange way. It almost felt like a maze. I kept turning down aisles and then finding myself trapped in like a maze and not really knowing how to get out or where to go. It was just a bizarre layout. I don't really know how to explain it. The horror section at this Barnes & Noble was very disappointing. They only had 2 bookcases for horror, and like 6 of those shelves were dedicated just to Stephen King. Which, like, I get that he's probably one of their top-selling authors in the entire store, but like, do they need 6 shelves for all of his books? I don't know. I would have loved to see more horror from other authors, but you know, I get it. They want to have what sells. I did really like they had a bunch of different displays for books by Black authors. They had a YA Black Voices display, and then they also had a Black Lives Matter display, which was really nice to see. It took me a while to find because, like I said, it was a maze, but I finally found the Katrina Leno book that I was looking for. I probably looked for this book for like a solid 10 minutes, but luckily they had 1 copy left. I was tempted to also buy Horrid, but I couldn't really justify buying a book I'd already read when I had so many other books that I was buying. Oh my gosh, I tried to take a cute thumbnail picture and I smiled, and then I realized I was wearing a mask, so you couldn't see that I was smiling. And then I kind of felt embarrassed and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna look at this book. Cut the cameras. I was in the fantasy section for a while. I was very tempted to buy a couple sequels to books that I've read this year and really loved. So like the Ikisar Falcon, which is the sequel to The Wolf of Oren-Yaro, and then The Archive of the Forgotten, which is the sequel to The Library of the Unwritten. I'm just not a big sequels person. I know I need to read sequels, but it's not something that I really do a lot. Maybe I should do an entire sequels reading vlog and like force myself to read sequels. Getting 14 books. So I'm going to show you first what I found at Half Price Books. I found such amazing stuff at Half Price Books. Like, I'm honestly so excited about all these books. I don't even know which one I'm the most excited for. The first one I could not believe that I found this. It looks like it's brand new, and that is this Penguin Classics edition of The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I have been wanting to read this for years. I'm really not a big classics person, but there's a couple classics. This one, Dracula, Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, like all of those I've really been wanting to read, and especially since reading The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, where a lot of those books were referenced. So I was so excited to find this, and this edition is just so beautiful. I love these Penguin classics. So the next book that I got is Children of Time by Adrienne Tchaikovsky. This is a sci-fi book. In my video where I read my least favorite genres, a lot of people recommended this to me as a sci-fi book that they think that I would really like. And so basically this is about humankind who is trying to find another planet to live on, and they find one that is terraformed and completely ready for human life, and they go there, and it turns out that there's already somebody there, and instead of this new planet being a paradise for humans, it's their worst nightmare. I have heard that if you have a fear of spiders, this is going to be very scary. So yeah, I'm really excited. It kind of, I don't know if this is dumb to say, but it kind of gives me like The 100 vibes, which is like, it's one of my favorite shows that I also hate a lot. I feel like the writers of that show make a lot of bad choices. So if I could find a book that is like that, but a million times better, written by an actually good writer, that's all I want in life. That's actually something that happens a lot. Do you guys ever find a show that you love and characters that you love, but the writers of that show are just so bad and they ruin it? I feel like that happens a lot. It definitely happened with The 100. The next book that I got is The Need by Helen Phillips. I have never heard of this book, but I saw it on the shelf, and when I pulled it out, the cover was just like very intriguing to me. So this is about a mother who keeps hearing strange noises and footsteps and things in her home, and she becomes very paranoid, and then one night she comes face to face with the intruder who knows way too much about her. And it says that it's a mind-bending speculative thriller, so I'm assuming there's some other bizarre aspect to it. I also looked it up on Goodreads, and it's a very low rated book. All of my Goodreads friends have either DNF'd it or gave it 1 star, which immediately intrigued me. The next book that I got is My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyenkun Braithwaite, and this is a book that I have always been interested in, and it follows this girl whose sister is a serial killer. She has killed 3 of her boyfriends, and she helps her to clean it up and like get rid of the bodies and cover it up because she really loves her sister. And then she has a crush on this doctor, and then the doctor ends up asking her sister out on a date, so she kind of has to decide if she's going to continue to protect her sister or save this guy. I'm very excited for this. It sounds really good. So the next one is Little Darlings by Melanie Golding. This is another one I've had my eye on for a while. So this is about a woman who gives birth to twins, and while she was in the hospital, she saw something come try to take her babies and replace them with creatures. But everybody kind of dismisses it and thinks it was a delusion or that she's just tired from giving birth, until a couple years later, she's at the park and her babies disappear. And so now she goes on a mission to find them. It's definitely a thriller that I've always like had my eye on because it sounds really different. And then the last book I found at Half Price Books, oh my god, I almost screamed when I saw this on the shelf. I was so excited, and that is Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. So this is a book you've probably seen. It's kind of been making the rounds on BookTube lately, but it is a dark academia gothic thriller. This is another book that's very low rated. It actually, when I did my reading the lowest rated horror on my TBR, it was actually this one, but then I realized I don't think that this is actually horror. I think it's more thriller, so I went with Bunny instead. But this has a very low rating on Goodreads, which again really intrigues me. It says it's a seductive gothic-infused suspense set within a secluded elite university and following a dangerously curious, rebellious undergraduate who uncovers a shocking secret about an exclusive circle of students and the dark truths behind her school's promise of prestige. That just sounds amazing. Also, in my copy are these 2 like news articles like about things in the book. So now I'm like wondering if the person who sold this at my Half Price Books is like a blogger or a booktuber or something, because normally you only find this stuff in like when they send out book promotions and stuff for bloggers and booktubers. I'm like, is there somebody in my area? That is my haul from Half Price Books. Now we move on to all the books that I got from Barnes & Noble. So like I said, all of these almost all of these books that I got at Barnes & Noble are for specific videos that I'm doing in like November, December, January, and February. So these are all ones that are like at the top of my radar and I'm so excited to read. So the first one you guys saw in the vlog footage was You Must Not Miss by Katrina Leno. You guys would know that I read Horrid by Katrina Leno a couple months ago and I really loved it. It was my first Katrina Leno book, and this one sounds really great, and I had to pick up this new cover that they did for it. I am obsessed with this new cover design. So from my understanding, this is about a girl who has a hard life. She's been bullied, and her way of coping is to write about this imaginary world. In that world, enact revenge against the people who have hurt her. So she writes these fictional stories getting revenge on her bullies. And then I think that maybe the things that she writes comes true. The tagline says, "Imagine your perfect revenge." I'm very excited to read this. I love a good revenge story. The next book I got is In the House in the Dark of the Woods by Laird Hunt. This is I don't know if this is horror or like, I don't know. This is a little strange book about witchcraft. It says, it's in colonial America, nothing is quite as it seems. A wife gone missing may in fact have fled her stifling and abusive home. So there's like women in the woods who are possibly witches. I think I've mentioned before that The Witch is one of my favorite horror movies, and this definitely reminds me of that, even more so than The Year of the Witching. And I'm like very surprised. This book is like very short, not just like in length, but like if you compare it to a normal sized paperback, it's really small. The next book, okay, I'm gonna be honest, this one was the only one that was kind of an impulse buy. I was on my way out and I like passed it and I was like, maybe I should get it. So that is A Winter's Promise by Christelle Davos. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I bought this because of TikTok. I'm obsessed with Draco TikTok, as we all are. And I saw a TikTok of somebody reading this and saying that the guy in this book is Draco. And that was enough for me. So I believe that this book is actually translated. I think that it originally comes out in French. Oh yeah, translated from French. So this is a French series, and I think that the books are still coming out. The English translations are still coming out. So it is a magical book about a girl who is promised in marriage to this guy named Thorn. With a name like that, he better be like Draco. And he is a member of a powerful clan from a cold and distant ark. She must navigate the lies of her fiance's clan in order to survive. Like, it really does not take a lot to get me excited about a book, and if you tell me that it reminds you of Draco Malfoy, that's all I need. The next book is Piranesi by Suzanna Clarke. This is a book that I had not heard anything about. Like, in all of my anticipated books lists, this never came up. But then within the past like 2 months, so many people have recommended this book to me, like specifically gone out of their way to recommend this book to me. It says it's set in a dreamlike alternate reality. So it's about this guy who lives in this house that is like a maze or a labyrinth. It's a very weird house. Its rooms are infinite, its corridors endless, its walls are lined with thousands upon thousands of statues. And there's one other person in the house, a man called the Other, who visits Piranesi twice a week and asks for help with research into a great and secret knowledge. A terrible truth begins to unravel, revealing a world beyond the one Piranesi has always known. Sounds weird. I'm very intrigued. The next book that I got is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This kind of reminds me of Sadie. So basically it says, pretty and popular high school senior Andy was murdered by her boyfriend Sal, who then killed himself. But the main character, Pip, she knew Sal, the supposed murderer, when they were kids, and she does not believe that he did this. She thinks there's something more going on. So she starts to investigate what really happened and prove his innocence. The next book that I got, I really didn't think I was going to be buying this book anytime soon, but here we are. I got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Honestly, of all of V.E. Schwab's books, this sounds like the one that I would enjoy the most, but I am very nervous because I've seen a lot of mixed reviews for it. The reason why I bought this and am planning on reading it way sooner than I ever intended was because of Kayla from Books and Lala. She read it and really enjoyed it, and I don't remember what video it was, but in her review for it, she said that she thinks that V.E. Schwab should have written this under a different name because it's a very niche book. The majority of people who are going to pick this up and read this probably aren't going to like it because it's strange and very niche, which I love niche books. So that made me more excited and want to pick it up. Essentially, it follows this girl who sells her soul to the devil. And now she is eternal, she can live forever, but she is cursed with the fact that everybody who knows her will forget her as soon as she leaves. So nobody has ever remembered her. And we're following her through her life, like through hundreds of years, until one day she finds this guy who remembers her. So that sounds really cool. It definitely reminds me of that movie, The Age of Adeline, with Blake Lively, and I love that movie. The next one that I got is The Bone Shard's Daughter by Andrea Stewart. So going based off of a Goodreads review that I read, it says that this has an established FF relationship. There's magical animal companions, political drama, multiple POVs, bone shard magic, which I don't know what that means, but I'm here for it. It just sounds really cool. I'm very excited. It's one that I have had my eye on for a while. I've been really anticipating it. So the last book that I picked up is The Space Between Worlds by Mikaya Johnson. This is another book that recently a couple people have recommended to me when I asked for sci-fi recommendations, and it sounds really good. So basically this is about alternate worlds. You can travel to alternate worlds, but you can only go to ones where your alternate self has died in that world. So if you're still alive in a world, you can't go there. And the main character, 372 alternate versions of herself have died. So she is like one of the people who is able to travel to the most alternate worlds. And then I think that she's gonna come across a conspiracy of like why so many of her doppelgangers have died. And yeah, this sounds really, really great. Again, I love alternate reality. I love stuff like that. These were all of the books that I purchased today. And now I'm not gonna buy books for the rest of the year. So that is gonna be the end of this video. I hope you guys liked coming shopping with me. It's probably gonna be a long time before I go into a bookstore again because it's not something that I want to do regularly. I just needed to treat myself. But definitely make sure if you are gonna go book shopping to take care of yourself, to be safe, to wear a mask if that is what's regulated in your country. I really hope that right now in this time that we're in, everybody is able to do some like small things for themselves that you love to do. For me, that was going to a bookstore, but whatever that looks like for you, I think it's super important to be able to take some time and moments for ourselves to do some normal things. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!